Hi guys, Noel Julian here, welcome to Take the Road. Back in June I was contacted by Redex and they asked me if I'd be interested in taking part in a trial of some of their fuel cleaning system products. I thought to myself it'd be a good idea to actually test it out on the Jag, because my Jaguar XJ8, I've only had it since April, and in that very short period of time I've realised it's a bit thirsty. So I thought it would be really interesting to see if Redex's products, their concentrated fuel system cleaner and their boot pack cleaner, would have much of an impact on the car's MPG figures, because since I've had the car I've noticed I've been getting around 21 miles to the gallon, and then when I'm in town, in heavy traffic in town, it drops to around 17 sometimes, which is really bad. So Redex basically sent me a whole kit to test out on the car, and they asked me to keep track of the figures, and I've got the exact results here and I will share those with you in just a moment. I mean, when you think about it, you look after your car every year, you get it serviced, you change the oil, brake fluids, etc. You maintain the car. And one thing we tend to forget about is the fuel system itself, because when you think about it, you're putting a liquid into the car, it gets burnt off, but over 20 years, like with this car, there's bound to be some deposits that collect in the fuel injection system itself. Now, the last thing you want is for your fuel injection system to clog up, because it's expensive to repair, and if it gets clogged up over time with debris and carbon deposits, etc., it's going to reduce your economy and the performance as well. So it actually makes sense to use a fuel system cleaner just to keep your fuel system clean, basically. So when I started the test, basically what I did was I ran the tank down to the red line. I didn't go beyond that because I didn't want to disturb any potential debris in the tank. So then I just filled the tank up with fresh fuel. I didn't go for high octane, I just went for standard unleaded, and my reading at that fill up was 23.4 miles a gallon. Not too bad. The official rating for the Jag, supposedly from Jaguar themselves, is 23 miles a gallon. So then the second fill up I recorded 21.2 miles a gallon. So there was a drop, which surprised me, because I kind of had assumed as soon as I started using the concentrated fuel system cleaner that it would send the figures shooting up. Didn't happen. But on the third fill up, I went on a motorway trip and I covered around 400 miles in 2 days, and the average MPG was 27.2, which is absolutely fantastic. And now I did drive very carefully because I kept watching my MPG gauge, and it just kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and I got up to 27.2, which I think was really good. And then my last fill up I returned 24.6, so it dropped again. And since then I've actually had a problem with the car and haven't really been able to drive it very much, which means I don't have any more figures to report, which is really frustrating, because Redex sent me a lot more of their boot shop pack bottles. So overall my average MPG was 24.1 with those figures, and so that's just 1.1 miles per gallon more than the official 23 that this car is rated for when new. Now, there's a couple of things you need to think of, and one of the big factors recently has been the weather. We've had really hot weather here in the UK, and around here it's been 30 degrees, which for this part of the country is just stupid. It's ridiculously hot, and your fuel efficiency is going to take a big hit when the weather is really hot. And also, there's been, on a couple of the runs that I've done, there's been roadworks, average speed cameras. I reckon if I had been driving this car a lot more and had covered a lot more miles over the past 3 months, I would definitely have seen better MPG figures. And it's just a shame the car's got a problem. So to sum up, would I recommend using Redex Fuel System Cleaner? Yes, I would actually. Having done the trial, and even though it only lasted a short period of time for me with this car, I do think using a fuel system cleaner on a regular basis is actually a good idea, especially for us classic car owners, because the last thing you want to happen is for your fuel system to gum up, your carburetors to get gummed up, fuel injection system to get gummed up. It's expensive, it's a headache, and it's something we could do without. So, you know, if you do your own maintenance on your car, if you change your own fluids, spark plugs, etc., if you do that kind of work, I think it's a really good idea to kind of start to think about the fuel system as well as part of that maintenance regime. So, you know, Redex recommend that you use this every 3,000 miles, and the boot pack you use every fill up. So yeah, I think using a fuel system cleaner is something that we should do more often. Yeah, okay, there is the cost obviously of purchasing the product, and the price of fuel these days keeps going up, which is really frustrating. But if you think about it, if your carburetor gets gummed up and your fuel injection system gets gummed up as well, that's going to cost a lot of money to sort out. So, you know, using the Redex products, their fuel system cleaners, I think, yeah, definitely is a good idea for looking after your car. And that's it for my Redex trial video. Hope you guys found it useful, and a big thank you to Redex for sending me the products. Stay tuned for the next episodes coming up on Take the Road, and if you haven't subscribed already, hit the old subscribe button below, and don't forget I'm also on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram as well. Take care guys, see you soon, and don't forget, just go drive.